Hello and welcome. It's Bio here. So, I want to do a two-parter of this, if it's possible to just do a two-parter. Part one will be the original. So, I'm going to show you guys why I think that the original one is actually better than the Deluxe Remaster. So, for one, as you can see, like even in the mirror, you can see everything. Everything is in the mirror. But you can see the reflections very well. Another part is basically blood. And also the fact that, as an example,
perfect.
You got erotica on here, which, nowadays apparently... See, I think that's why they didn't add erotica into the new one, the Deluxe Remasters, because there's just too many, crybabies and things like that out there that just, they'll just cry about something. But see, the biggest reason why I think this one is better than the Deluxe Remaster is, well, the biggest and main reason is because the Deluxe Remaster is technically a more toned down version. One, they took out the erotica part of it, so that, is kind of one of the things that made the first Dead Rising. Then obviously the blood and gore on this one, I don't know, I think the blood and gore is better on this one. So I'll show you one of the things that I mean here. Let me get in a better spot here. Couple things actually about this. Oh, that ain't gonna work. Well, you can see the blood squirting out of their neck hole, obviously. But well, anyways, one of the things besides the blood that squirts out of their neck hole, is the actual bullet shells that not only exit the gun, but even hit the ground and actually, land on the ground. And you can even hear it actually with the audio too. So as you can see, the shotgun shell comes out and hits the ground. Okay. And like I said, when you shoot, and sometimes when you shoot their heads off, they'll just like stand there for a second, and you'll see the blood squirt out of their neck hole. But there's also the instance, like, you see all the bullet shells come out of it, right? Like you can clearly see them all coming out, hitting the ground. Now, even though the actual like slide part of it doesn't come back, that's okay. They at least added the bullet shells, so at least it makes some sense. But the thing is it is a 2006 game. I mean, but it does make somewhat sense, more so than the Deluxe Remaster does. And you'll see what I'm talking about, but here in a little bit. But there's something else too. So I think the blood and gore is better on this one.
Anyone there?
And I'll even show you another reason why. So take the pistol as an example. Shoot him once in the head, and look at all that. They just drop. Look at all that blood that just kind of lands like that. And it's just, for 2006, a lot of games did not do a lot of stuff like that. Now, this is like the PS4 version, but it's still just a port, essentially, of the 360 2006 version, just sort of at 1080p. You know, other than the 1080p, they didn't really do much of anything else to it. I think it was just essentially just a resolution boost. And I think maybe a frame rate boost for 60 FPS, but something else, so you can see the bullet shells actually hitting the ground even on the pistol. But something else about it is even the pistol, you can see the slide actually go back on the pistol. The slide does actually go back on the pistol. So,
hello?
Let's see, what else? And it's got, like I was saying a few minutes ago, it does have all the reflections. Oh, yeah. And it does that, too, which, obviously, it seems like there's more blood on this one. Seems like there's more blood in, I don't know about gore, but definitely more blood on this one, I think. But I want to show you guys something, too, on top of that, though. So, there's a specific weapon you could use, which, you know, when I show you the remaster version versus like this one, you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. When I go over here and grab it. But you'll see what I'm talking about when you look at this one versus that one. I was just gonna make it like two videos in one part, but I recorded a certain amount and it just, I don't know, I couldn't capture everything I really wanted to capture without, you know, sort of streaming, I guess. I mean, I could have captured a bunch of video and stuff and then just slapped them together, but I don't know, I just kind of felt like doing a couple of these videos would be a little bit better than that. Because I can explain as I'm actually doing it rather than sort of like a commentary type of thing, you know? So I just figured it would be better doing it this way. But I'll show you here in a second. One of the things that is definitely, I think, better on this one. So when you take this excavator here, you stick it into one of them. I think that's definitely more dramatic than it is on the other one, but you'll notice, like, see all the blood landing? And it'll go to a certain distance, and it actually goes further than that, but probably just where there's so much blood already. There we go. So you'll see where it doesn't, it's not just like disappearing as you're moving, right? Like, it takes a minute. So, and even when I turned right there, you can see where the blood splatter is going in like a half a circle. But once there's so much on the ground, it will start disappearing, so new blood can actually land. But the new one, the new Deluxe Remaster, it doesn't do that. Like, it just sort of lands and almost instantly disappears. And I'm like, well, I kind of like this one better when it comes to that detail, because, you know, back in like 2006, 2007, like, people were doing this just to kind of, you know, make a line. You know what I mean? It's like, because it was just, it wasn't like a lot of other games, you know, like, most other games really didn't quite have this much outside of like Mortal Kombat or very, very particular games, but yeah, I mean, got that detail. Now, I'll show you something else too here, just a minute. Let me make sure I don't have to fight this guy back. You know what? Never mind. I wouldn't worry about him right now. Now, you know, obviously when you look at like the 2024 Deluxe Remaster, sure, it looks graphically better, and they added some details to the world, and very, very few details to the characters. Now, sure, their polygons are a lot better, so they do look a lot graphically better, but, I mean, outside of like his hair, like Frank's hair blowing in the wind or something, like, pretty much everything else is the same. You know, like, and I mean, they did add like one detail I do like, and that's where like the tongue actually moves on the new Deluxe Remaster. So like when they're talking, you'll sometimes like see their tongue actually move too. So it does kind of make more sense in that sense, but try to get over here. Now, lighting-wise, I think it depends on your preference. Because, personally, I kind of like this lighting a little bit better because it's not quite as so over-dramatic. And, you know, what I mean by that is on a lot of people's TVs, if they're playing the Deluxe Remaster, like, sometimes you may have to choose the sRGB mode over the Rec 709 mode because of the fact that Rec 709 is just so dramatically weird on the lighting sometimes when it comes to like the outside. Inside, not too bad. Outside, I mean, like on most TVs, it might just look pure freaking black. You know, it may not look quite right. But there is something I was wanting to show you too on here. So, and it's about the reflections. Let's see here. I mean, like I said, sure, the graphics are better. You know, there's things I like about the new one, and there's a lot of things I like about the old one. But I think there's more things about the old one that I like, more so than the new one. Now, when I say, like, they added, like, details to the world, I'll show you here in a minute what I'm talking about. But I'm going to go in here just to kind of show you guys something, like, and it's kind of crazy because the Deluxe Remaster is literally next gen only, so it makes no sense why they couldn't have done more to it. Now, the only thing missing that I could tell in the reflection is just a shadow, like under his feet, as you can see, like in like when you're not looking in the mirror, you can see the shadow, but for some reason, like the shadow's just not there. But you know what? The freaking mirror, you know, even for like a 2006 game, shows more in it than most games with ray tracing does anymore. I mean, I could play a few games that's got ray tracing, and it's probably still not going to show as much in the freaking reflection if it has it as this game does. I mean, sure, the shadow is missing, and they dumped down the looks like the zombie count, like on the reflection, versus like if you like just turn around and look this way. But outside of those two tiny little things, you know what? It's a 2006 freaking game. I mean, even if you look at the benches sitting there, you can see the shadows under them. So I mean, you know, for a 2006 game, and those are the only two things that are sort of, you know, just certain shadows aren't in the frickin' reflection. Like that little dumbbell right there. You know, it's got a shadow there, but when you look at it on there, it don't, and then the character don't, and then the zombie count on the reflection isn't quite as many as like if you turn and look. But, you know, it's a 2006 game. So for it to show this much in a freaking reflection. That is wild. I mean, look at that even, like... Like, that's just pretty wild, like, just how much stuff that it actually shows in the reflection in the mirror, like, just wild, especially for a 2006 game. And like I said, this is the PS4 version, but it's just a port of the 360 version, essentially. Like, it's just a 1080p port. And, I mean, when you do this, when you do the walkie-talkie, there's nobody talking. You can see what they're talking, like, with the subtitles, but there's no actual voiceover. And it's like, okay, whatever. You know, I get it. But this game's not even 9 gig. And you just, I don't know, it just seems to have more detail on a lot of certain things than what the new Deluxe Remaster does. And this one's 2006 versus 2024. Like, that's a lot of years. But, I mean... Look at that. Bullet shells and everything. Like, more reflections, bullet shells. Now, when you do look at, like, his eyes... Now, mind you, this is a 2006 game. They don't really blink like they do on the Deluxe Remaster, so... You know, it's like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff I like about this one, and there's a lot of stuff I like about the other one. But then there's a lot of stuff that I don't like about the other one that I do on this one. And now I can say that the Deluxe Remaster makes you feel like you're more in a mall, because it does have, like, what is it, like the frickin' like the announcer or whatever over the speakers and stuff. But I don't know, like, unless that's recorded, I mean, you could say it's still just as realistic on this one as it is the Deluxe Remaster, because, well, technically, if it's not, like, if the voice wasn't recorded to do that, and there has to be, like, an actual person at that exact time to be doing it. Well, the thing is it's a zombie apocalypse, so I mean, they're just obviously not going to be doing it. So it does make sense to, you know, if they're dead, I mean, they're not going to be announcing anything, so it does make sense either way you put it, and it does, you know, seem like it's pretty realistic either way you put it. Now, the other thing I was wanting to show you is, let's see here. Yeah, we'll just do this real quick so we can get back there a little bit faster. So it is pretty cool that the newer one has, like, more details in the sense of, like, the world and certain things, and it makes the mall feel just a little bit more like an actual mall. But, you know, even if, like, some of the details that aren't on this one that's on that one, it's like in here, like, you got, like, this right here, that's pretty much about it. I mean, and then when you go, but funny enough, there can be more zombies in that area than there can be on the friggin' remaster, surprisingly. Which I think is kind of funny when you think about it, because it's like, well, you know, with the new one being next gen only, I mean, you kind of think, you know, they could have done more. But there's this right here, because they added, like, I guess like a dolphin or something right here. And then, you know, I do like how they added, like, the fences and stuff, like the gates and whatnot, like on the new remaster, making it look like, you know, the people tried to close them and try to keep zombies out, but they still, like, broke through. I do like that, but at the same time, it's like, would they have gotten to them quick enough to actually do that, though? You know what I mean? So know, you just kind of get the feeling, you know, with certain things. But, you know, I just feel like the Deluxe Remaster is toned down in the sense of, like, you know, like, you got the erotica that's on here, you got more blood, and this, that, and the other. I mean, it is kind of sad, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's a next-gen only title, and this one even has more blood. I mean, look at that. When you shoot somebody in the head, look at all the blood that just splatters everywhere, or that spatters everywhere. And then also, even on the wall. Now, with the new Deluxe Remaster, that isn't quite like that as much. I mean, you can, if they're close enough to it, it'll do that, but not, I don't think it's quite as much. You know, I really don't. I don't think it's quite as much. So, you know what I mean? It's sort of, but, you know, so between all that stuff, I mean, there's something else that they did add to the Deluxe Remaster, and that would be, they did change this part over here a little bit. Which you know what, I like it either this way or that way. But this right here, this little bridge-like thing, I don't care if it's this way or the other way, I like it both ways. However, I do think it is a little bit better on the newer one. But, I like it both ways though, because technically, you could go to a place that has it like that, and you could go to a place that has it like there's on the Deluxe Remaster. So, you know, now one of the things that they didn't change at all was, you know, where you shoot them like in the water or anything, the blood don't actually like land in the water, if the water's deep enough. However, I think, let me check over here, because I think on the Deluxe Remaster, it did land in this water, but I'm not so sure it's as deep as it is on this one, either. I think the water might actually be a little bit deeper on this one. So, I think it does land in the water on this particular area, but I don't think the water is as deep even though. On the Deluxe Remaster, so yeah, but that's okay, because if you play the Deluxe Remaster and, you know, the blood lands in this water, but not like that water, they just kind of make it feel off, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, it can be a little weird. We try to get them over this way a little bit. See, it did land on that wall too. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to sheer just detail, you know, I think it depends on the detail itself. Like, when you shoot or cut off like a zombie's head like this, you can see where the blood just kind of comes out of their neck hole. And even when I shot him, it even landed on that wall, too. But you can see the blood squirt out of their neck. You know, it's like, wow, okay. But then on a new one, it really don't do that. But, yeah, I mean, it's just... Then the fact that there's, like, no bullet shells in the new one, when it comes to certain details, this one has more. When it comes to certain other details, the other one has more. As an example, let me see something. Yeah, no, actually, the gun still smokes. That one really don't. That one does. So, they might have added, like, maybe certain little details, like maybe they added, like, gun smoke or whatever to, like, the SMG here. But when it comes to sheer like overall detail, sure, the new one's probably got a lot more, but they also took out a lot of details that really made the game what it is. And I think that just sucks. Now, maybe there's a lot of people that didn't even notice a lot of this until you watch these two videos. But yeah, I mean, like, come on. Like, doing something like that right there, that was just cool back in 2006, you know? It's like, this game is freaking awesome. And, you know, but I think when it comes down to sheer detail for like a 2006 game, it was kind of hard to beat this one. And a lot of the detail, because, you know, the way the blood is, the stuff you can do. I mean, you could grab that grocery cart right there and push it around, smack them with it. You can take like frying pans and then put like on here, right? And then you can take it off, and when it gets hot like that, you can even see it get red, and where it's just kind of a sign like, hey, look, it's hot. And then you could do this and do stuff like that. Like, come on. You really couldn't do a lot of this type of stuff on a lot of games, and there wasn't quite this much detail on a lot of games either back in 2006. You know, so... But it originally was on Xbox 360, and I think the reason why is probably the same reason that they couldn't put Gears of War on like the PS3. And that's because of the actual graphics card. So even though the PS3 technically had a better graphics card than the Xbox 360, it was only 256 megabyte dedicated video versus 512 megabyte dedicated video. Now the original Xbox 360 that first came out only had, I think it was 256 megabyte dedicated, but you got to remember the PS3 had, I believe it's a GDDR3, and the Xbox 360 had a DDR3. So there is a difference because GDDR is made for gaming. DDR3 is not really made for gaming, but it is kind of just fast enough. So, but I mean, you know, when you just like look around at everything, and look at like what 2006 gave us for a zombie game is just incredible. I mean, heck, you can even take a camera and that's that and the other. I mean, it's so cool for 2006 to be like this. And one of my favorite things about it is the fact that you can grab just about anything and use as a weapon. Or if you just want to, you know, have fun with even like a water gun and just sort of, you know, here, come here, buddy. And then see, there's another detail, like when you spray them, you can see where it's like they're getting wet, right? But it also works if you are spitting. Because you can see them getting like spit all over them. So I mean, you know, for a 2006 game, man, there's not too many games like this back then. Especially when it comes to zombie games, like, most of the zombie games wasn't real true zombie games like this one. This is one reason why the first Dead Rising was my favorite zombie game, because it's a true zombie game. There's not like a bunch of special infected. They're all dumb and slow. They don't just run everywhere. You know what I mean? And, I mean, you get to choose so many different weapons. It almost kind of reminds you of like Zombieland. Now it is, they did actually on the original 360 version put like a little thing on the front of it stating that it's like, hey, look, we didn't have permission from like George A.R.M.O. because of Dawn of the Dead. I believe it was 2000. They had, I think, there was two different versions of George A.R.M.O.'s Dawn of the Dead. I think it was a 2004 version and then an older version. And I think they were talking about this one, just sort of coincidental that it's in a mall, and a lot of it is like so similar to the George A.R.M.O. Dawn of the Dead movie. And the original, and then obviously the 2004 one, but more so the original one, I think, because, well, I mean, it kind of came out before this one, before this game, but so did the 2004 one, because this game is 2006. But the thing is if the people that were making the 2004 movie had seen any sort of gameplay from this game, because remember, 2004, 2005, 2006, it's only a couple of years, and I don't remember how long the development time was on this game, but I'm pretty sure they probably started around that time or so, if not before that. I mean, because they could have started like in 2005, and there could have been like a trailer or something, and like, right before like during the making of that movie or something, they could have maybe released like a trailer showing like, hey, look, this is what's coming out on the 360. I just don't remember because I never really, so, but yeah, I mean, to me it's like the new one just feels off with the guns by like a mile, because like no bullet shells, not the pistol don't even have a slide that goes back or nothing. Like it just seems kind of odd, But I think we're gonna go ahead and get to the Deluxe Remaster. So we're gonna do part 2 here in just a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and end this one and then plug that one in, and then start that one up. Now the thing is, right before I do that, both Dead Risings are hard to get a hold of. And it's kind of funny how it just doesn't make sense. Because it's like, you got the original Dead Rising that's on PS4. It's just it's basically just a port of the 360 version, just a 1080p port. And it's not even really 9 gig. It's like 8 point some odd gigabyte on the PS4. And then the Deluxe Remaster is like 59. And it's like, wait a minute, so let me get this straight. First of all, it's a PS5 disc on a Deluxe Remaster, and it's a 100 gigabyte disc. So would it have really hurt you guys to put, the rest of the details on there, like the slide coming back on the pistol, the bullet shells, and, sort of the better blood that's on the original Dead Rising? I mean, for obvious reasons, when they lose their head, you can see blood squirt out of their necks, and it just doesn't do that anymore. And it's kind of like, I mean, you'll see what I'm talking about, but they made it better and worse at the same time. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they did that because they wanted people to buy both versions of it, but that's what I did. I bought both versions of it, so that way, it's like, because I really love the original, but then I do like the remake. Now, something else about the remake, there's a couple things I think, but one of the things is it is easier to save a lot of the survivors, but, that also takes away from the challenge that the original 2006 version gave you. You know what I mean? So it's sort of, it's kind of dumbed down a little bit, on that. It's dumbed down on like the blood. It's, somebody was like, oh, it's got more blood and gore in it. And I'm like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably, I don't know. I mean, generally when I shoot a zombie in the head on the original 2006 version, you can see how much blood just kind of pops out and lands, and you can watch it like fly out and hit the ground and everything, and then you shoot a freaking zombie in the head on like the new one, and it's like maybe a small tiny puddle. And when I mean like a puddle, I'm talking like, I mean, you'll see what I'm talking about, but it's not very much at all. Let me see if I can maybe, yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can maybe try something here. So I would say it's probably, oh wow. There we go. Yeah, I think I can get this. Yeah, and then that's something else too. So you can see where she's like wearing the fishnets and the panties and stuff. But I would say it's probably, if you cut like this off right here. Come on, you turds. Boy, the zombies are definitely more aggressive on this one, especially at night. But let me try to find. You know what? I got an idea. Okay, let me go in here for a second and let me. Yeah. Okay, so, well, actually, this is probably good enough. It's probably similar to, like, that amount of blood. Like this. Possibly that, maybe less. It's maybe kind of similar to, like, that, maybe, or slightly less. I don't know. It's just weird, because it's like, how is it that the 2006 version just seems like it's got more blood in it? You know, it's just... But yeah, it's kind of like... I'd say it's probably kind of like that, in a way. And partially like this, but... It's just, you know, and you can see whenever I shoot one how much actually comes out. Even just with the pistol. You know, it's like, wow. I mean, look. Headshot. Look at that. That is a lot. You know, like, it's a lot more than what there definitely is on the Deluxe Remaster. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and hop on that one. So they took out most of the reflections on the new one. And took out the bullet shells, even coming out of the guns, which makes them feel so weird. Because it's like, wait a minute, this is sort of like a real life... I would say that Dead Rising would be closer to like a real life zombie simulator. So it's more of a simulator to me. Because it's kind of like, well, I mean, technically... Even in real life, what are you going to do? Right? You're going to go grab as much crap as you can, or whatever, and just try to get weapons. You know, you're going to go to your stores and try to get stuff. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. But it just seems more like a simulator. Even if it's not, it just kind of seems that way, you know, because it's like, well, I mean, obviously, comparing this to, like, you know, something like, World War Z. I mean, sure, if you take out the zombies that run on that, just take all that out. Yeah, I mean, most of the characters, they have like a machete or something, and then it's just like all guns. Right? Like, you don't see any of them just, hey, let me go to the store and grab a shovel. Let me go to the store and grab a bat. Let me go to the store and grab a freaking lead pipe or something, you know what I mean? Like, let me go grab a freaking mannequin. You know? I mean, there's just so much crap on this that just makes it more of a simulation to me, because it just gives you the wow factor, you know? I mean, even a freaking bucket. Even tools, which gives you actually blades, saw blades that you could toss. You know, it just gives you that, like, Well, if there's a zombie apocalypse, you're going to try to grab anything that you can. I mean, look at Shaun of the Dead as an example. I mean, that's what they did, too. And the zombies also, by the way, didn't run or anything on that either. So, you know, you see what I'm saying? It's like, man, this is just freaking awesome. So, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but once I start playing the other one, if I remember it, I'll mention it. But, yeah, I mean, anyways, though, let's go ahead and hop off of this one and get on the other one. And, yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed this one, please give it a big fat thumbs up. Maybe subscribe. If you do, please turn your post notifications on. Make sure to set them to all. Thanks for watching. Have a great and blessed day. And I'll catch you here in a minute.